Hello, my name is Divya and we are Group 48. Our project is called SquillSwap, a campus micro-tutoring and skill exchange platform built for web and script programming, project part 2. So the idea behind a SquillSwap is to help students share skills with each other through short informal sessions instead of formal tutoring. For example, one student might offer help with JavaScript and another student might offer help with resumes and presentation skills. Our platform lets students create these sessions, view what's available, and manages them in the simple dashboard. In part one of the project, we focus mainly on the front end prototype, the landing page, the session form validation, and the dashboard table. In part two, which we are presenting today, we added the full authentication system, backend integrations, protected routes, and cloud deployment, so the app works end to end. So then you hand off. On the next slide, we quickly show how we divided work for part two. So we are divided for all three members. So this is me, the Divya the full stack lead. Build login and register pages, implemented JWT authentications, protected routes, front-end back-end integrations, sessions, CRUD logic, MongoDB connections, and Netlify configuration. So when we first try to deploy using Netlify configurations, it did work, but somehow it shows like the sessions had ended since we have to upgrade the system. So then we deployed in the render. So just in case, I just included that too. So this is me, TV Rakshana, and then next page we're gonna look into the live demo. So in the live demo, basically I will show how the registration for the new user works and the login navigation changes, login to logout, and then create sessions, delete sessions, references page to confirm data persist, show backend logs option, which is optional, and then show render plus Netlify dashboards. So now we'll click into the link which shows our application. So now I'll walk you through the live demo of our application. So first, this is our SquillSwap homepage. At the top, we have the site name, our branding, and the navigation. Because I'm not logged in yet, you can see that the navigation only shows the login page and registration. So here, you can see my name. If you're logged in, you can see your name. So I'll start by registering new name. Let's say, or maybe use my previous names as well since I logged in. So when I click register, it already shows registration successful. Now let me click OK. So now when I go to login using the same password, when you try to log in, dot Sridharan ontario.techno.net login. So it says logged in successfully. Okay, then you click OK. Then you can add these details. So without registering, when you try to enter anything here, it shows an error saying that it cannot be created. So before, let me log out and then show you how it works. So when I go to home, let's say something is working, and then you choose like random any dates in time with the time, and then duration maybe 50 minutes, and then description maybe final exam. And then let's say I'm not logged in, you can see my name here, and then when you try to click submission sessions, it shows error request failed 401, because without login it can't authentify that this person is not registered. So only registered person can sign into these things. So you have to register. So register is basically works like we collect basic fields like email, passwords, and these are sent to our backend API where we hash the password and store in the user MongoDB. So if a person enter his password, it can be stored in the MongoDB. And then since I registered, I can go and register again. So let me try to log in using my registered email. Also, you can use any random emails, only the email that you use to register for the app. Let's use your password. Then let's click login. Also here you have forget password. If you forget the password, you can go and reset your password. And when you click login, it says logged in successfully, and then click OK. Then you can see my name appears at the top, and then here you type maybe web and script, and then you choose February 29th, then duration 190, and description maybe the final project. Now when you click submission, since you have registered and you have an account, it says created with a tick mark. And when you go to the active skill sessions, this is the one we created now. This is the one we created now. It says web and script and the dates with the time and the minutes and the final projects. And if you want to delete the previous session you created under your account, you can click delete. Without registering login, you can't do any of these functions won't work. It just shows an error. And you want to log out, you can simply click the logout session. I also worked on writing the authentication rules and middleware. For example, in our login route, we verify the user email and password as I showed you before. And if it matches, we generate a JWT within the secret stored in our environment variables. The token is returned to a front end and is required for any create or delete actions on sessions. This ensures only in authenticated users can modify data, which is the key requirement for this release. So as I showed you before, without registering, you can use these applications. You can function the application. So this is the code we use for the authentication, which is in the backend auth middleware.js. And then finally, I want to end this. At the end, overall on connecting the front end and back end, making sure authentication sessions and the UI work smoothly together for this release. So next, I will hand over to my member 2.
Hello, my name is Rima Isimbi, and I work mainly on the backend side of this project. I focused on data models, the CRUD routes, and helping to connect the API in the front end. I will show you a quick overview of the backend structure and how our routes handle authentication and the session management. As you can see here on this code, it shows how CRUD routes works. This is our backend project structure. We use Node.js and with Express and MongoDB Atlas with Mongoose for our database. As you can see here in our folder tree, we have models, routes, controllers, and in the middleware. In the model folder, we have our users and the session schemas. The session model stores the details for each skill session, including the title, description, time, who is offering it, and availability. The user model stores the user's email and password, which is hashed, as you can see here on our model file. In the session schema, we define all the fields that the front end from the sender. This makes easy to validate and store the session data in MongoDB. And here, this is a user model. For the user schema, we don't store a plain password. Instead, we use hashed password, which is generated by Bcrypt when the user registers, because we don't want to see when someone maybe hacked our MongoDB will see like a real password. So it's supposed to show as hashed. That's why we use Bcrypt. And on our routes here, as you can see on our authentication route file, these are our authentication routes. The register routes receive the user's information, hashes the password, and saves the user to the MongoDB. Here, as you can see in the MongoDB, the login routes find the user, compare to the password, and if it matches, it's generate the token. This token is then used by the front end to access protected routes. So we created the middleware authentication.js. So that's how we generated the token. So this token, as I said, is then used for the front end to access protected routes. We also added authentication middleware that checks for valid tokens in request headers. If token is valid, the request continues. If it's not, it's just rejected. This middleware is applied for all routes that should only be accessed by logged in user, like creating or deleting session. If you're logged in user, you can access this one. It's applied to you. If you're not, this one is not applied to you. As you can see here on our open session routes, these are like our session routes. The main ones are get session to get all sessions, post session to create new sessions which are protected, delete session including ID, as you've seen on the MongoDB. It says name and ID to delete session, which is also protected. For front-end routes, we use authentication middleware, so if request doesn't include valid token, the backend will not allow the actions. Then, so here, my front end create a session from the front end. The request came here from the post session routes with hard token. The backend validate, which is me. The backend validates the token, saved the session in MongoDB, and returned to the new session to the front end. And then Richie, our deployment, he deployed and edited the codes. We'll show you how we deployed both backend and front end, and how everything is connected in the cloud. So basically, my focus was making sure that
My name is Richie. And for this project, my main role was handling deployment testing and helping organize the document for both parts of the project. For part two, my biggest responsibility was making sure everything was actually working online. I deployed our backend on render, set up all the environment variables like our MongoDB connections and JWT secrets, and made sure the server stayed running properly. I also deployed our React front end, connected it to the backend URL, and tested all the routers to make sure login, registering, and creating or deleting sessions worked in the cloud. I also helped clean up the structure of our GitHub repo, update the README with instructions, and work with the project with my group to make sure our code and our slides were clear and easy to follow. Overall, my role was basically making sure the project was stable, deployed, and ready for demo. Thank you.